need one more woohoo for Asheville. Woohoo! Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm really delighted to be here today. This is definitely a 180 turn from some of the earlier programming. My name is Charla Muller. I'm a published author, and I wrote a memoir that received a fair amount of attention and launched me into two of the worst experiences of my entire life. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. Woohoo! Let's give a shout out for really crappy experiences, okay? And those two experiences included two people you know, Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey. I'm the gal, I'm going to try to do this. I'm the gal who had the wacky idea of giving her husband intimacy every day for a year in honor of his 40th birthday. This is where you turn to the, This is where you turn to the person next to you and go, oh, that was her. It's me. I get that a lot. That was you. Yeah, that was me. That was me. I never intended to write a book about it. I never dreamed to write a book about it, but, and don't lots of dreams and risks start with that tiny little three-letter word of but, the gift, as we had come to euphemistically call it at our house, and it was without a doubt the most transforming year in my marriage to date. And it had nothing to do with sex. And it had nothing to do with what happened in the bedroom. And it had everything to do with what happened outside of the bedroom. It was so transforming that I really, in my heart of hearts, felt like I had something to share. And that's kind of a big deal, you know, for a married wife and mother who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, you know? So through a crazy, incredible turn of events, I landed an agent, and I landed a book deal with Berkeley Books, which is a subsidiary of Penguin, and voila, a book. 365 Nights, a memoir of intimacy. Now, of course, a lot happened between the book and the year of the gift, but I want to get to Barbara and Oprah, okay? Because that's really the good part. So the book is published in the U.S., it's published in China, it's published in Germany, it's published in German again, but in another country.
East and West Germany.
It's East Germany and West Germany kind of thing. In fact, I had to go online to all of the international Amazon.com sites to get these images because I don't have any of these books. That is Portugal, and that is not me. Now you can see why I don't have this sitting out on my coffee table, right? Are you guys ready for the British version? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So this is one of the life lessons that you should always have final approval on all book covers, even if they're not books carried in the U.S., right? So I have a book published in languages that I can't speak, that I can't read, and I certainly can't understand. I mean, this is crazy. I took some risks, and the dreams are rolling in. This is going to be great, right? Right? Woohoo! So fast forward to my first big-time interview, sitting under the bright lights of the ABC soundstage, hanging out with the girls from The View. Because if there is anybody who wants to dish about marriage and intimacy, it's Whoopi Goldberg, Barbara Walters, Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Joy Behar, and Sherry Shepherd, right? And by the way, my very lovely husband is required to be there too, okay? He had to go on all these interviews. So the interview is wrapping up, and I'm thinking to myself, this is going okay. You know, this is going okay. I mean, I've sweated off my makeup, and I've pitted out in my black sweater. But, you know, I think this is going to be okay. I mean, I've never been on national TV before, and it seems to be going okay. When out of left field, and I mean that literally, Barbara Walters is sitting to my left. She closes out the interview with the following zinger. So Charla, you had sex every day for a year with your husband. Did you have and she said it, every time? I mean, I'm so shocked I can't speak, which is very rare for me. So I squeak out the truth. Of course not. She immediately turns to Brad. Brad, did you care? He is equally stunned and squeaks out, of course not. Oh, they cut to commercial, the lights go down, we're escorted out of the studio, and here we are standing in the bright sunlight of New York City, and I am wondering what the heck just happened. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to prime time. This is a good time to mention a few things. I was born and raised in a small southern town. I am of a Christian conservative bent. Yes, I wrote a book about marriage and intimacy, but it was a modest tale of what happened, as I mentioned, outside the bedroom. There are no tips, there are no techniques, and there's absolutely no mention of the O word at all. This is not an X-rated book. It was more like PG, no violence, no bad language, not really a lot of sex, but definitely some mature themes. My grandmother was watching the show, along with my mom and dad, who I really like. I mean, I'm not one of those folks who wrote a book, in kind of familial retaliation. And gazillions of people across America had watched me stumble over the O question from Barbara Walters. My cell phone rings, it's my agent. Girl, that was awesome. And I'm thinking, maybe for you. But for me, not so much. So I'm kind of assuming that the worst is behind me, right? So I learn as I go. I'm kind of, I'm a little adaptable, and I do literally hundreds of more interviews. CNN, People Magazine, international radio with people that don't speak English, television, print. I learned how to dodge. I learned how to deflect. I learned how to finesse. I became a media ninja. There was no question that I didn't know how to answer, that I could not answer inappropriately and in a way that would make my grandmother proud, truly. And then she calls. You know who I'm talking about? The big O, no pun intended. Let's get this book cover off the screen, shall we? Let's go back to that. That, by the way, is my husband and I in a photo shoot for the London Daily Times article. And he was kind of doing this kind of high art direction, and I had no idea how the anonymity of having our heads cut off would actually be a positive thing. So Oprah Winfrey calls and she books us on her show. And we don't fly to Chicago, and I am not sitting in the makeup chair bonding with Oprah, but rather we are Skyped in from our living room in Charlotte. Okay, that's cool. I mean, it's not the same, but it's still good, right? So as a sidebar, you should know this. I did not watch, DVR, or otherwise archive one television interview. Just really didn't need to see it, So raise your hand. I mean, because deep down inside, don't we all have kind of secret aspirations to be on TV? Oh, come on. We're among friends. Admit it, right? Yeah. I mean, we all want it. I mean, it sounds, these dreams, don't they sound fabulous in the abstract? I mean, being on the Oprah Show is the stuff of dreams in the abstract. Let me tell you what being on the Oprah Show is like up close and personal. Because here's the deal with Skype and live television. You cannot run, friends, and you cannot hide. So I watched myself live on the Oprah Show while I was live on the Oprah Show. Does that make any sense? So I was live on the Oprah Show watching myself going, oh my God, I'm live on the Oprah Show. That's me, I'm live on the Oprah Show. I mean, it was this weird, surreal, out-of-body, parallel universe kind of experience. It was a situation that I would say that most first-time authors or any author would kill for. And here are the three things that I leave you with. Real time, high def, and very portly. You know how images in your rear view mirror are closer than they appear? That was me on the Oprah Show. I mean, I had gone to all this work to kind of master what I was going to say, and I was completely unprepared for what I look like. And it kind of bummed me out. So while that was great for the book, it was kind of stinky for me. And I was really happy to write a book about the transformative power of intimacy in your marriage. I was thrilled to get letters from people, not just in the United States, but from around the world, who would write me and say, I live in Australia, I live in Sydney, I'm married with 2 kids, and you are living my life. Girlfriend, I totally understand what you were trying to communicate in this book. I wanted to do all that. That was a very cool part of the dream, right? But to broadcast my inability to say no to Ben and Jerry, not so much. To be rendered speechless by Barbara Walters on national TV, that was not part of my dream. But the truth is, and I think that this is what I would like to share with you today, is that the living out of a dream versus the dreaming of the dream is messy, and it's stressful, and it very rarely is what you expect. Sidebar, I was so undone by my chubbiness that I knocked off 55 pounds. Woohoo! That's a big woohoo! Yay! And I am not one of those girls who laments about how much she needs to lose weight because she doesn't really need to lose weight. I never talked about it, losing weight, because it was really obvious that I needed to. So, anyway, back to making dreams and taking risks is an incredibly inexact science. Sometimes we do it kicking and screaming, or as I tell my kids, it ain't all sunshine and butterflies, hun. Pursuing dreams is not for wimps. So, if you are making dreams and taking risks, I applaud you. And I offer you this. I personally think, having lived it, that we must be willing for the world to bear witness to all of it. Because it is in the unexpected and uncomfortable and embarrassing places where we connect. Where someone says, I think I could do that. She looks, she sounds, she seems an awful lot like me. Likewise, I encourage us all to honor the idea that dreams and dream makers come in all shapes and sizes. Thank you.